Salam, friends. So last time we talked about the roots of love with Pouria Montazeri, and today we're going to explore love a little bit more. Salam, Pouria, how are you?
Salam, Tanya. I'm doing great. Happy to be with you.
So the next natural question after our last session would be, what does Maulana Rumi say about love? Because he talks about love a whole lot in all his writings. So could you elaborate a little bit about what he says about love?
Sure thing. I think the best way to go about that is to just let him speak. And I could recite one of his ghazals, ghazal number 395, where in it he speaks to kind of what love is not, and a little bit points to what love is. Because part of the path is purification and pruning, like the neti in Advaita Vedanta, not this, not that, not this, not that. So part of the path is to recognize all that we think is something that is actually not. So this poem is 7 lines. Due to our time, to save time, I will read the first line in its original Persian language, and then I will read the entire 7 lines in English, my own translation. So Maulana says, Ishq andar fazl o ilm o daftar o awraq nist. هرچه گفت و گوی خلق آن ره عشاق نیست. He says, love resides not in virtue, not in knowledge, not even in pages and pamphlets. The path that the discourses of people leads to is different from the path of lovers. Know that love's roots are grounded in pre-eternity and its branches reach into infinity. Yet, such a divine tree is independent of soil, trunk, and even heaven's throne. We, speaking about himself and the lovers of God, we deposed reason and have bounded earthly passion, for they are both unworthy in the presence of such glory, being love. So long as you long, you idolize longing, for you are still acting as a separate lover. But once you become the beloved, from then on, no longing will ever exist. The seafaring person incessantly floats upon the planks of hope and fears, the ups and downs and the impermanence of life. But once the personhood and the impermanent planks have been annihilated, only effortless submersion in the divine ocean remains. O Shams of Tabriz, you are the sea, the pearl too, because your being throughout is nothing but the mystery of the One.
Wow, that is so profound. There comes a point when there is no need to long for anything. You become one with love, and then you don't long for that love. That is a completely different maqam. That's a completely different state, isn't it?
It is. As we said before in previous conversations, that in a way, if love had a fragrance, it would be longing. So in a way, we bow to longing because the longing is a driver, is a fragrance that we follow, right? But Maulana is saying that it won't have to be like this forever. When you do experience longing, which it points to your state of separateness from the beloved, you honor it and you follow it. But once you reach that place, then that which brought you is no longer relevant. So in a way, especially for the postmodern, pseudo-spiritual world we live in, it's a reminder that our entire life is not to be spent on spirituality 101, that there can be maturity, there can be results in this life, here and now. We can have it as well.
So it's kind of like it's that wanderer who goes out there, knocks on every door, starts exploring every place, only to yearn to be back home again. So that which you're seeking and you're yearning and you're aching for, the longing is part of the process. You have to go out there, you have to explore, you have to be part of the adventure. So you can lose all the veils and all the things that stand between you and your heart, in your ability to see your heart clearly. But in essence, you're just really going back to the point where you started from, coming back to it as a different person, of course, as a lighter being, as a being who's dropped all the misconceptions or preconceptions, whatever they may be. So what we're seeking is really something that we meet beyond the longing. We have to get rid of, is the concept of fanafi Allah or bakabi Allah. It's just merging, dissolving, melting into what is.
Yes, what you're pointing to beautifully is you are demystifying or pointing to the delusion that what we're seeking is outside of us. How can that which we seek be anywhere else but here? It would be a big flaw in our belief or in a system if we were to just contemplate on it. That which we are seeking, that's why St. Francis said that which you're seeking is where you are seeking from. Or when Maulana says that I knocked and knocked and knocked on the door, and when the door was open, I realized that I was inside all along. But to arrive to what these amazing saints have actually experienced is that, yes, for some, not for everyone, because grace works in different ways. For some, it's kind of like the Persian beautiful saying that I sought out for water all around the world, and then I found that the water was in the water jug right next to me all along. So for some of us, that journey looking for that which is always with us is what prunes away, it what kind of gets rid of things, brings about maturity. And then suddenly when that moment comes, we go like, whoa. And that's what the Sufis say, that I looked for you everywhere and you were always here and I could not see you. So that is the play. That is the, I don't want to say the cosmic comedy. I don't know, but it is a little bit humorous, which can point to how much effort we put into making ourselves more blind to something that is so simple. And yet we have to find that simplicity. Just knowing about it is not enough.
Right, and that's the key. So, and of course you're right, grace works in different ways for different people, but you have to take the adventure. You have to go out there. Because you could sit in a hermitage and say, I'm not going to engage with the world, and I'm going to find that essence, that light, that thing within. And you could be there for 40, 50 years and may not hit enlightenment. Or you could step out and have one conversation with someone completely, just anybody, a homeless person, and be awakened to something. But the act of taking the adventure is part of the process, is part of going home. That love that we're talking about is that feeling of being home. Is that innate nostalgia we all have for something we don't remember quite clearly, but there is this innate need and an ache. And to get back to that feeling of home or that feeling of love, one has to leave home. One has to leave oneself. One has to go out there and explore to get to that place, to get back inside. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We go about life already. So these teachings just help us to make it more intentional, make it more conscious, make it more juicy. And that's what I love about Islam. There is no monasticism in Islam, other than kind of some seclusion or chillas that your teacher asks you to experience. Other than that, we are encouraged to live amongst people, be here, because because we have to experience this life. We can't be completely divorced from it, and we shouldn't get lost in it. A balance and a harmony in between the two. And that is what Islam is about. Islam is about true balance and true harmony. True balance and true harmony create true health. A true healthy person is someone who all of her aspects are balanced and harmony, just like how nature is, how nature follows that law. So we live amongst people, we go about our lives, but what a better way to go about the same life we got to go about? Because people, unless there is a huge hindrance and a pathology or a chronic depression, people don't want to sit on their couch all their life. They want to go and they want to do something. But what a better way that in that doing, we do it intentional, looking for beauty, looking for something higher, looking for inner meanings. We're going through the same journey, but what if we went through it consciously? Self-observation and self-awareness is the biggest gratitude humans can show to existence. And what do I mean by that? Is that we are gifted that power and ability to be self-aware, to observe the self, something that the mountains and the plants or even planets and the animals do not have. It is something that he also says in the Quran that the humans have been gifted with this. So to practice it, to manifest it for our own good, to use it to find who we truly are, in itself is showing gratitude and using that which we have been gifted so freely, the ability to be self-aware. If we're going to feel really awful, it would be good to know at least why I'm feeling so awful. It would be really hellish to feel awful and lost and depressed and not knowing why. So knowing why in itself is a lot better, even if you still continue to feel regret or feel like not so happy, but at least now you know why. So then the first step is just self-awareness, self-observation, mindfulness, heartfulness, pausing, and just being, presence, attention, focus, because all of that then is the fuel and the vehicle for all the teachings and all the things that we've covered that Maulana or other mystics and saints say. These are the prerequisites for that course.
Love that. I love that. So take the adventure and engage self-awareness so that one can release the veils, the blocks, the obstacles that exist when one becomes more aware of one's evolution, the process of refinement, and one's journey as well. Fabulous. Thank you so much, Pouria Jan. This was fabulous as always.
Thank you, Tanya Jan. Likewise.